one of the gross injustices in this country you're going to hear about tonight is the death of black men in custody. It is barbaric and criminal. And yet, time and time again, I've been in court and I've seen the police have killed black people in custody, in the streets, in police stations, get off scot-free. Christopher Alder died, choking to death in a police station in Hull while a group of policemen stood around him laughing. It's almost unbelievable. And began to take up Janet's campaign, and Janet Alder has been campaigning ever since. Janet Alder is an incredible person for pushing the struggle forward for justice for her brother Christopher, and again, it isn't over. Janet Alder.
One would like to think, after seeing what happened to Stephen Lawrence, and the Macpherson's report coming out, that things in this country have changed. But that is not true. I think most people here saw the appalling death of my brother, an ex-paratrooper, on a custody suite floor of Hull Queen's Gardens police station, with his trousers to his knees, gasping for his life. I thought it was going to be clear cut. I thought this is up the road to justice. Until I met up with the organisations. The Crown prosecution spent 4 years cancelling any evidence out to incriminate the 5 police officers that murdered my brother. We went to an inquest where 9 ordinary men and women like you saw what I saw, listened to what I listened to, and they came up with the same verdict as I did. Christopher, I thought this is up the road to justice. Until I met up with the organisations. The Crown prosecution spent 4 years cancelling any evidence out to incriminate the 5 police officers that murdered my brother. We went to an inquest where 9 ordinary men and women like you saw what I saw, listened to what I listened to, and they came up with the same verdict as I did. Christopher was unlawfully killed. I honestly then thought this was going to be it. There was evidence of him making monkey and chimpanzee noises, mocking him while he's dead on the floor. We managed to get 5 police officers in court with the reluctance of the CPS. We actually went outside of this country to get experts to come to the same conclusion as what we did. Because in this kind of thing, experts all cling together. Because one's too frightened to step on the other's toes. One's too frightened to be ostracised, rather than tell the truth about what's gone on. Time and time again, you've got police stations full of people who the public are paying a good living to look after us as ordinary people. There's over 3,000 people been killed by the police since 1969. Shot, beaten. We're not speaking about people just accidentally dying in a police station, people with mental illnesses, been walking the streets for years without any problem, but as soon as they come into contact with the police, they're dead on the floor. Now we expect the people that are there to protect us to do what's right. When we got to the trial of these 5 police officers, the CPS did the job of the defence. They eradicated any evidence that pointed to the police wrongdoing. The defence used that to defend themselves. You've got an orange here. The CPS's job is to prove this is an orange. They collected evidence to say it was an apple. They put it together and the judge said, "What are you doing? You aren't making a clear case. Are you trying to say it's an orange or an apple? Throw this out." The murderers walked out of the court. We had the PCA at that time, the people that's supposed to be investigating the police. It was full of ex-police officers. There's a law in this land that says that police officers are immune from prosecution. You've got the investigating forces that are investigating the force that's responsible. They're the ones that are making the decisions to whether this other force is going to be prosecuted. And we as the ordinary people are walking out really believing that these people are going to do what's right. I had to take the Crown prosecution to court. I couldn't find a solicitor or a barrister that would prosecute the prosecutors of the land. So I did it myself. What happened in that police van from my brother leaving the hospital fully compos mentis with a head injury that side and landing up on the police station floor with his trousers down, additional injuries, a head injury that side, and unconscious. They had never ever investigated where his missing tooth was. I asked the prosecutors, "Where is my brother's missing tooth?" They said, "Well, we don't know, that didn't kill him." Now if this had been me and you, as ordinary people, that is the first question they would have been asking us. I asked them why the police officer's clothing had been dry cleaned and returned. They said, "Well, we can't go into things like that." Why were they at the hospital the next day? Well, that's private and confidential, we can't go into their medical records. But if it had been me and you, they were quick enough to get all the details from when I was in care, all the medical records, to try and use against me in a civil case that I was taking against them. But when it comes to 5 police officers murdering my brother, it was private and confidential. I asked them why the van was cleaned. Well, we don't know. I asked them why they burnt my brother's clothes. Well, we don't know. I asked them why one of the police officers had 2 CS gas canisters. One was sent away for destruction. I'd told about it for 4 years. They went to Bradford 4 years later, to the place where they get destroyed, brought it back, and they told me it was full. Well, why did it get sent for destruction in the first place if it had never been used? My brother's missing tooth was found on a tip, so they say. Do you know where the seagulls are? Yeah? The tip lorry had gone, collected the stuff from outside the nightclub, allegations. The IPCC, the best they could come up with, these officers are institutionally racist. No, I'm sorry. They were making monkey and chimpanzee noises. I call that racist. You're either racist or you're not. What's institutionally racist? That's a get-out clause to me. Right. Yeah. So we fought and we fought and we fought. And we actually got to the point where we weren't going to find any justice in this country. So we was banking on the European Courts of Human Rights. At the 10th hour, the government conceded. They wrote a unilateral declaration which has never ever been done in a death in custody before. They were forced because they didn't want to be embarrassed. If the European courts had listened to our case, they would have been able to see a clear cut that this country did everything in their power, spending millions of public money to let those 5 murdering police officers off. Then I thought, this is not justice. But at least it's a little bit of acknowledgement. I thought, now what do? Do I get on and try and bring back some of those 14 years, which I'd never ever be able to do? But only to be told, on the 5th of November, 2011, in 2000, when I thought that we'd given my brother the best public funeral, the best respect that a paratrooper could have had that fought for this country, only to find out that I've buried a 77-year-old woman. My brother was in the mortuary for 12 years and they're trying to tell me that nobody knew about it.
Dirty Babylon.
And once again, we're waiting for this famous, we will investigate this. I heard Alan Johnson say, well, we definitely need an investigation, and if nothing criminal has happened, I'd actually heard the police saying, well, we have to make sure that the punishment is proportionate. You bury the dead to respect them. Christopher was not only just murdered, the only person that ended up in prison was Christopher. The police officers, the murdering police officers are walking the street. My brother's body was in prison for 12 years. And once again, they're going to lie again. They're already saying to us, oh, well, we're looking at questioning these people at misconduct in a public office. I went, wait a minute, I've seen that before. Misconduct in a public office means somebody has done this with malice. It means that you have to prove that they knew what they were doing. Now they're telling me we can't find any evidence when your brother was moved from the hospital mortuary to the funeral. We can't find any evidence because the funeral director's dead and the mortuary staff, one's in New Zealand and one's in Australia.
Spend the millions again.
It's more like the investigating officer and his partner are going to go away on holiday there. Now, Christopher is one of 3,000 people in this country that has died at the hands of the police. There are families all over this country, and these men are dying horrific deaths at the hands of the state. This is state murder. Their own in the future are susceptible to this. Their loved ones in the future, are not going to be within the police force, They're going to be in the same position as every one of us, and as susceptible as every one of us. But the thing Yeah? Police cuts. There needs to be 20% of police cuts. Maybe then we stop spending millions of pounds paying top barristers to defend them when they're murderers. I'm here today to ask for support of everybody. If you hear about a death in custody, support the families, they need you. We'll never ever stop anything like this without the support of everybody. Thank you.